Instagram stories are the biggest slept on tool that you can use on Instagram right now to turn your views into paying clients and to build a client base of your dream business right now. If you're a coach, freelancer, agency owner, or entrepreneur, then right now you have thousands of dollars or pounds sat in your account right now of unutilized leads. And that all comes from building an amazing story strategy. I have generated 18,000 USD from my stories alone, all because I dialed in the exact messaging that you need. This video is going to go to the exact story strategy that I use and exactly how you can use stories to gain clients from your current audience. Get a notepad and pen out and sit to the end of this video because each point here is going to make you thousands of pounds. I can assure you because I've done it myself and I do it with my clients. So strap into the video and I will see you on the other side.
So here we go. This is the Instagram story sequence that earned me the 18K and I cannot wait to get into this with you. This is the receipt. As always, no bullshit scammers here. True figures and facts only. But before we do anything, we need to get into a bit of theory. And I know that is like, oh, theory, but I want to explain exactly why stories are so important to motivate you to make sure that you do not sleep on stories. And that is because when I looked into my statistics about the clients that I've collected cash from, out of the 24K that I collected in the first 30 days of my online business, 18K of that came from stories. That blew my mind. I did not realize that stories were that effective. I knew they're important, but I did not realize they were that effective. And that is because of something that I like to call room theory. And that is because we have reels, we have our videos on Instagram. And what the statistics look like for reels is you will see that reels mainly hit non-followers. They are getting people who have never seen you and us before into the room. That's why I call it room theory. They are bringing them into the room. They're outside and they don't know who you are and you need to bring them into the room. And that's exactly why we do reels. However, stories are about talking to people into the room. Stories are shown almost majority wise to our followers. So we are basically educating people in our room. So reels bring people into the room. Super important. You have to bring people into the room. You can't speak to an empty room. But when people are in the room, then we want to talk to them. We want to continue to nurture them because we work so hard to get these new people to see us. You spend so much time on your reels and your Instagram posts, but then you forget about the people that have been brought into the room. And that is like, why? It's basically like saying you're a shopkeeper that spends all his time on advertising and then as soon as someone walks into his store, he refuses to speak to them. Why would you do that? So it's so important to speak to your clients in your shop. But how do we do that effectively? That is what this video is all about. So the strategy you need to use is basically saying, firstly, knowing that people spend 70% of their time on stories and DMs and Instagram. People don't use reels as much as you might think. As you'll know from probably when you use Instagram yourself, you click on the top and this is what you see. You see 1, 2, and 2 and a bit stories. And that is what a lot of people spend their time on. They spend 70% of their time on stories and DMs. So what we want to do is really prioritize stories because when people are following us and when they've joined our audience, when they've come into the room, we have an amazing opportunity to market to them. But you'll see that only a few stories get shown at the start. There is actually an independent story algorithm. That means we need to work very heavily on engagement for stories as well. Stories are not just this throwaway thing that you can do and spend all your time on reels, because why would you? People spend 70% of their time on stories and DMs. So why would you spend no time on it and spend all your time on your reels? I think meticulously about my stories now because of this fact and because of realizing how much money it can actually make me. So that is really important. Work heavily on your engagement, your story. And if you get the golden opportunity to appear at the front here, which means you're out, the algorithm is promoting you, then we need to keep people's attention. So almost every time you post a story, it should be a carousel. If you get the golden opportunity of being placed here at the front, remember I follow about 2,000 people and 3 people right now are getting shown at the front here. So if you get this golden opportunity to be placed at the front of my Instagram or all your client's Instagram, then you need to make use of it. And that is why we want to be posting carousels. We want to be posting video. We want to be posting stories where there are multiple stories, because once someone clicks onto it, they are engaged, or they have a higher chance of being engaged because they are shown all of those stories. So that is great. But what are the 3 types of stories that I have used to collect that cash, and what are the 3 types of stories that you need to use? Okie dokie. The first type of story is the personality story. They're the first purpose, and that is basically to be relatable and to give people touch points. The things you can talk about are your views on the world. They are your updates of what is going on in your life, your hot little takes, and your struggles in your life. They're the 4 topics that I use for my personality stories. And that is great, because what happens is it makes you relatable. People realize you're a human being on the other side of the phone. People build real credibility with you, but it also gives people touch points. And I really want to touch on this part because of the fact that I have sat on sales calls where people are ready to buy from me, and they're not just ready to buy from me because my offer is amazing. They're ready to buy from me because of the touch points. I've had the weirdest things said to me on sales calls. They say stuff like, "Oh, I love your training style," or "I love what you have for breakfast," or "I love what you were doing when you were in Dubai." Even this story here got people on sales calls. It gets people talking. It makes people realize you're a person, and it gives them a little point to bond with you on. If you don't have this part, then you are just a business account. You might as well just put a logo at the front of your account and not even bother trying to bring your personality into it. And I want to just double down on that point, because people are so invested in people. People buy from people. So please do not forget that. And that is why bringing your personality in your stories is super important. You will not believe the amount of client conversations that I've started just from putting up a random story. And this is a great example of them, because I moved to Dubai for a few weeks and I just put up a story about Dubai. And then I also put up next after this, a story about me and a girl in an airport, and basically me giving her money. Long story short, not to virtue signal, I basically put up that story and then put up this story about, okay, I don't want to get filthy rich and flex Lamborghinis. I actually want to get rich so that I can help people, like the story I told in this second carousel. And that got so many replies because people saw my personality. People saw that I was in Dubai. Then they also saw what my views were in life, and they could relate to that. People who have that view and see people in Dubai flexing Lamborghinis, all of a sudden you get that personality of me. And that's nice, because that's what I want my clients to be like. I want clients to like me as well as they want my value. So that's purpose number 1. Purpose number 2 is value. Purpose number 3, just to tell you, is the absolute gold mine. So purpose number 3, we are coming on to very soon. But do not sleep on purpose number 2, because stories give you a great way to continue to tell people in the room what value provides. You've probably shown them value on Reels already, but we want to give them more value when we know them a bit better, right? It's the difference between you not knowing someone and you trying to tell them everything you know. They're a bit like, oh, I'm not sure if I believe this person. On your story, all of a sudden, someone is engaged in you, and you can really drill home how much you know about things. Topics here to talk about: ICP pain points, ICP ideal customer profile, pain points of your target clients, and also the solutions you can use. You know your clients' problems, you can solve them. That is all we want to do here. The aim is to show that I know you, I know your problems. Your problems, for example, are posting stories, and I know the solutions to them. I know how to put good stories out there. That is a great story topic in itself, kind of matrixy there. This is a great story topic. And what we want to do there is we want to create a story carousel which follows the exact same story carousel as our reels. We need to hook people in, we need to get people's attention, and here I've completely shifted my approach to helping people build online businesses. Straight away, it's like, what is that approach? Bit of a hook there to start off with. And then I start giving value about the certain topic, and then I summarize, cut out the noise, and paint the roadmap. This is the dream story value. And what happens is nothing apart from someone coming away from this story going, that guy knows what he's talking about. I've logged in my brain, that guy knows what he's talking about. Really, really great story carousel. And I would make sure you do these as well. They're super easy to do. They take less than 30 seconds to make, and they're a great way to show people what your value is. Okay. This is the gold dust of this video. Thanks for making it. If you've made it to this point, then you are going to succeed, because you have made it through to the part where you are talking about using stories to sell. This is the third way that we want to create stories. And that is because we have our content system. We have the videos that we post. We have, our top of funnel reels, awareness, education, interest. I go into that in another video. After this video, that will be linked in the description. Make sure you check out that video about how to actually create an amazing, amazing funnel. I can also send you some resources on that if you want to message me on Instagram, but happy to send you more about the content system. But we have our content system. We are pumping out reels. We're pumping out YouTube videos. We are pumping out testimonials of people succeeding when they work with us. And what we want to do then is take people from our content system, take people from the scroll, the watching on YouTube, to our sales system. I like to call this taking people from the interest zone to the engaged zone. Interest means that they're watching your content, they're interested in you. Engaged means that they're in your sales system. And again, I have a full detailed video breaking down my sales system. If you message me on Instagram, I'm very, very happy to walk you through that, or I can send you the YouTube video, just send me a message on Instagram. But the whole point of these purpose stories, and this is the exact reason why I can say for a fact that I have made 18K from my stories, is because I have been able to track taking people from the content system to the sales system. And how the hell do you do that? How do you get people from interested to engaged? And that is the gold dust of the video. So the aim is to get viewers into your sales process and to give them a CTA. And there are 3 ways, ladies and gentlemen, that you can do this: the client testimonial, the value CTA, and the straight up sell. So let's get into all 3. The first one, with the client testimonials, we are showing off our results. And you might be listening to this and say, I don't have enough client testimonials. Okay, fine. Change this from client testimonials to your own testimonials. What transformation have you done? But ideally, we get client testimonials in this. They work super well. So I started this week in the Free Fingers Club, and it's enough to celebrate. Random kind of hook here, but it does get people involved. Like, I'm talking about 0% bit. Interesting, right? So instantly it's like, okay, a bit of a hook, but talking about the Free Fingers Club. And then I go into all the amazing results we get. I could go through all these: Austin smashing it, people getting 8.5k views in their first 3 days, rinsing through viral videos, 4 million video, 1,000 followers, all of these amazing testimonials. I'm sure you have them. If you don't, again, talk about yours. And then what happens is we have a CTA at the end. So we have a call to action. If you're a coach or a freelancer or want to become one and have dinner with these views, reply to this story saying freedom. And that is the CTA that gets people from your content system into your sales system. Once they have replied, they become part of your sales system because they are engaged in talking about being a client of yours. Okay, perfect. Testimonials all the way to a CTA. Second one, value plus CTA. So this follows a very similar format to the value story that we spoke about in the purpose 2 of your stories. But here, what you do is hook. So this is an authority hook, talking about how many followers I've gained in 60k days. And then what we do is we give value. This whole story is value. This whole story is value. This whole story is value. A little bit of a setup here, but in genuine, the whole story is value. And then at the end, we go and we say, reply content if this is interesting to you. And what happens? Again, we are taking people from content, from stories, into our sales funnel. And then the last story, the absolutely prince sales, is just straight up selling. And that might seem counterintuitive, but sometimes, people don't want to click through all this. People don't want to click through us, or maybe they've even clicked through all of it, but they just needed a bit more of a nudge. So you've done maybe a few of these. The next one is just literally saying, DM me roadmap. So my roadmap CTA, but you just go straight to a CTA, straight up one story. And I know I said carousels are important, but this is the only exception where you just put up a story and say, do you want to work with me? Because sometimes people will have been going through this funnel over and over again. They will have seen all these stories and they just want to work with you. They might be sitting the right way, looking at their phone the right way, and they're like, okay, I just want to work with you. And this absolutely prints as well. So these 3 in combination are amazing ways to get people from the content system to the sales system. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you're going to make a shed load of money from your Instagram stories. Peace.